Trump is about to fill GITMO up after Obama emptied it, but you won't believe who he's sending there. Another campaign promise on the verge of being kept by our new president. While President Donald Trump has been having a stellar showing abroad at the G20 summit, Attorney General Jeff Sessions along with his deputy, Rod Rosenstein, and Director of National Intelligence Stan Coates took the time to visit the Guantanamo Bay prison camp at the U.S. Naval Base on the island of Cuba. Between 2009 and 2017 the Guantanamo prison has been running basically on a kind of autopilot mode since the executive order from former President Barack Hussein Obama calling for the facility to be shut down is still technically the law of the land. But because President Trump is a true American who cares about our nation's security and the well-being of our citizens over all else, he promised during the campaign to fill it to capacity again. Sessions ended his visit by saying that the prison is a very fine place where there is no legal reason not to send new detainees there. The Guardian reports. Obama signs order to close Guantanamo Bay. Thursday, January 22, 2009 12:20 EST. Prison that symbolizes George Bush's war on terror will be shut down, accompanied by ban on torture and review of military trials. Barack Obama has signed an executive order to shut down the U.S. military prison at Guantanamo Bay, the most potent symbol of excess in George Bush's war on terror. The new U.S. president signed two other executive orders to review the use of military trials for terror suspects and ban the harshest interrogation techniques, such as waterboarding. The three executive orders, on the second day of the new administration, showed that Obama was determined to move swiftly to implement some of his key campaign pledges. Administration staff applauded as the signing ceremony in the Oval Office. The message that we are sending around the world is that the United States intends to prosecute the ongoing struggle against violence and terrorism, and we are going to do so vigilantly, Obama said. We are going to do so effectively, and we are going to do so in a manner that is consistent with our values and our ideals. A draft copy of the order said, in view of significant concerns raised by these detentions, both within the United States and internationally, prompt and appropriate disposition of the individuals currently detained at Guantanamo and closure of the facility would further the national security and foreign policy interests of the United States and the interests of justice. An estimated 245 men are being held at Guantanamo, a U.S. naval base in Cuba. Most have been locked up for years without being charged with a crime. Obama's plans to review military trials of terror suspects and harsh interrogations were being assembled even before he won the election in November. The UN's torture investigator, Manfred Novak, welcomed the move and said freed inmates should be allowed to sue the U.S. if they had been mistreated. Justice also means to look into the past, Novak told the Associated Press. Novak has previously said he has reliable accounts of torture at Guantanamo. Lawyers for two inmates, Abd al-Rahim al-Nashiri and Mohammed Jawad, have said their clients were tortured. In Saudi Arabia, families of the country's 13 remaining Guantanamo detainees rejoiced at the news. That was a humane decision. We're very optimistic, said Ali al-Sayari, whose son Abdullah, 28, has been there for 8 years. The family has not heard from or about him for the past 2 years. Obama is correcting the mistakes of his predecessor, said Ali al-Shamrani, whose nephew Mohammed al-Shamrani has been in Guantanamo for 8 years. Obama's nominee to be the Director of National Intelligence is set to tell Congress there will be no torture, harsh interrogations or wiretaps without warrants under his command. In remarks prepared for his confirmation hearing, retired Admiral Dennis Blair said he believed torture is not moral, legal or effective. The signing of the executive orders came as Hillary Clinton, on her first day as Secretary of State, pledged to pursue robust diplomacy and effective development to advance America's interests. About 1,000 State Department employees gave Clinton a rousing welcome as she spoke at the main entrance to the building. She had been confirmed overwhelmingly in the job by the Senate. I will do all that I can working with you to make it abundantly clear that robust diplomacy and effective development are the best long-term tools for securing America's future, Clinton said. I believed with all my heart that this is a new era for America. Waiting for Clinton and her office was a letter of welcome and advice from her immediate predecessor, Condoleezza Rice, who was criticized by staff for not doing enough to increase funding for diplomats. Obama is expected to name George Mitchell, the former Senate Democratic leader, as his Middle East envoy. Mitchell, 75, who helped broker the Good Friday peace accords in Northern Ireland, led an international commission under former President Bill Clinton that investigated the causes of the Second Intifada in 2000. In his first full day on the job, the president yesterday telephoned several Middle Eastern leaders including President Hosni Mubarak of Egypt and Ehud Olmert, the Israeli prime minister, in an indication that he will devote serious attention to the Middle East early on in his administration, in sharp contrast to Bush. Hussein Obama actually did end up failing in his efforts to close down Guantanamo, so he instead released most of the savages inside and only left the 41 detainees who were considered the most dangerous. Consequently, most of the prisoners he released just went back to their old profession of killing infidels. What liberals refuse to understand, or just don't care to, is that Guantanamo Bay Prison is very important strategically because of the issues we have in this country with scumbag ambulance-chasing attorneys and activist judges who insist on legislating from the courts. Since the terrorists are never actually on U.S. soil, U.S. laws never apply to them. Aren't you just so thankful and relieved that our new president also has a pen and a phone? While Barry Soetoro insisted on coddling our enemies and alienating our friends, President Trump has all the intentions of finishing them off and bringing about true peace. Please share if you are happy to see Club Gitmo back in service. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe Breaking News 365 channel. Goodbye and see you again.